Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. I am back to cover part 2 of the probable cause affidavit. This one is against Sarah Wondra. The probable cause affidavits for Brandon and Adrian are not yet out. So at this point, this would be part 2. So I'm going to go through that. This one is 7 pages long. Again, this can be tough to read and hear. So be aware of that, and take your breaks if you need them. Okay, again, this is the probable cause affidavit against Sarah Wondra. All of these can be found again on the Monkey's Army YouTube channel. The family put out, so please go there, and I will link to it again in the information of the video if you're not already subscribed, because again, they can be hard to read on the screen here. So if you want to pull them up and look at them for yourself, please do so. In the district of the 3rd Judicial District of the state of Idaho, in and for the County of Payette Magistrate Division, in the state of Idaho, plaintiff versus Sarah A. Wondra, defendant. Alright, and again, this is the same Detective Juanita Keller, the undersigned, being first duly sworn on earth, deposes and says, I am a peace officer employed by the Fruitland Police Department. The defendant is alleged to have committed the following crimes between the dates of approximately, I think it cut off there a little bit, 2021 through 2025. First degree murder. 2, kidnapping, 2nd degree. 3, destruction of or concealment of evidence. The crimes were not committed in my presence. I believe that there is probable cause to believe the defendant committed such crime or crimes because of the following facts. On July 27, 2021, neighbors reported seeing 5-year-old Michael Joseph Vaughan between approximately 18:15 and 18:30 hours in the area of Michael's home and neighbors' residences on Redacted in South Arizona in Fruitland, Payette County, Idaho. Michael knocked on some of his neighbors' doors, attempting to play with neighbors or in their yards. Michael was told to return home by all of the neighbors that he contacted. So again, some of this is going to be very similar or the same wording as Stacy's. There is going to be some variations as we get further into the affidavit. At approximately 18:45 to 18:50 hours, Tyler Vaughan noticed his 5-year-old son, Michael Joseph Vaughan, was missing from their home located at Redacted in Fruitland, Payette County, Idaho. Tyler began searching his home and property for Michael. Tyler called 911 to report his son missing at approximately 19:21 hours, and the Fruitland Police Department responded to the area. Fruitland Police Department and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, along with other local agencies and volunteers, searched for Michael over several weeks and now years. Michael has never been found. Through interviews, searches, and other corroborating evidence, all of Michael's family and household members have been determined to not have any evidence of Michael's current location, nor were they involved in Michael's disappearance. All of Michael's neighbors on Southwest 9th Street in South Arizona have been thoroughly investigated, searched, and interviewed, and have been determined by law enforcement to not have any knowledge of or involvement in Michael's disappearance. The surrounding area was searched extensively, and Michael has never been found. Live Scent K9 teams searched the surrounding neighborhoods August 2nd through 3rd, 2021, using a pair of Michael's shoes for Michael's scent. Out of approximately 300 homes, K9 handler reported the dog only showed interest in one house located at Redacted in Fruitland. This is the home of Stacy and Sarah Wondra. A canine handler also reported that canine Banshee showed interest in the area of the corner of Meadowlark and Red Wing Street. The canine showed interest at the intersection and then headed straight to the fence and front door of the Wondra residence. On August 2nd, 2021, Banshee showed interest in the area of the Bluff side at the entrance of Bluffs subdivision. Canine Banshee tracked scent down to a tree over the edge of the bluff on Southwest 8th Street and Three Rivers Way. Canine Banshee was determined to track the scent into the thorny bushes under the tree despite the thorns. A discarded child stroller was located deep in those thorny bushes. On August 5th, 2021, a pink Big Flyer tricycle was located behind the Bluff sign at Three Rivers Way in Southwest 8th Street. During a search of the same area the day prior, the tricycle was not there. Jim Smith, who lives in the Three River subdivision, later reported that he had found the tricycle over the bluff under a tree next to a child's stroller. Jim said he took it home to use one of the wheels for another project, but then discarded it after not removing the wheel as planned. Jim said he left it behind the Bluff sign for the neighborhood kids to use. Kim Elko would later report to law enforcement that she had seen the tricycle in the Wondra's garage during a yard sale in the spring of 2021. Elko was able to describe the layout of the Wondra garage and where she saw the tricycle on a stack of boxes. The described stack of boxes was still there during a later search warrant of the Wondra residence and garage. Video surveillance was gathered from security cameras in the neighborhood Michael disappeared from, as well as neighboring neighborhoods. Michael is never seen on any of the surveillance footage that was obtained. Now, someone mentioned in Brooks's Live yesterday that sometimes these videos don't catch pedestrians, even though the one by the splash pad did, so maybe they're all not activated necessarily by pedestrians, or maybe a small child wouldn't activate them necessarily. Stacy Wondra is captured on surveillance footage driving a white Lexus and pulling into the parking area of the splash pad in the neighborhood off of Southwest 8th Street at 15:23 hours on July 27th, 2021. Stacy is seen exiting the driver's door, walking around to the passenger side of the car. It appears to be testing the exterior door handle. Stacy then walked back around to the driver's side of the vehicle, where he got into the driver's seat and exited the area onto Southwest 8th Street at 15:24 hours, 1 minute after arriving. Video surveillance shows an adult male walking in the area of Three Rivers Way at 18:08 hours on July 27, 2021, and the same male is captured walking in the area of the neighborhood splash pad at 18:18 hours. The last image of the male is captured at 18:28 hours as he walks through the wooded area to the west back toward the area in which the Wondras lived. Brandon Shurtleff was identified in 2022 to being this person and told detectives during an interview that the surveillance video captured him as he was walking and searching for a missing child on the date that Michael disappeared. Yeah, Brandon, except Michael hadn't disappeared yet. This video captured Brandon prior to Michael being reported missing. Brandon reported he was living with the Wondras on that date. Dorothy Starkey, who lives at Redacted in Fruitland, reported on July 29, 2021, that she saw Michael riding a big wheel tricycle at the corner of Red Wing Street and Meadowlark Avenue on July 27, 2021, as she was either entering or leaving the neighborhood. Dorothy is seen on surveillance videos coming into the neighborhood westbound on Southwest 8th Street at 18:25 hours and left the neighborhood eastbound on Southwest 8th Street at 19:25 hours. Other than Dorothy's report, there are no other reports of Michael being seen anywhere other than Southwest 9th Street and his next door neighbor's house on Arizona on the date of his disappearance. On August 1st, 2021, Fruitland police contacted the residents at Redacted in Fruitland. On their initial search of the residence, they located Adrian Lucene hiding in a closet. Residents of the home on that date and July 27, 2021 were identified as married couple Stacy and Sarah Wondra and their sublets Brandon Shirtliff and Adrian Lucene. All four were interviewed on August 1st, 2021. Adrian was vague in his statements and would not commit to a solid statement. He also refused to provide a social security number for identification confirmation. He provided Stacy's phone number as his own and concealed his real phone number from law enforcement. Remember what I said before, only criminals or people who know that they are in the wrong lie to law enforcement. Sarah reported that on July 27, 2021, she and Stacy had slept until noon. Sarah said they left their residence at about 1700 hours to tow a vehicle to Kuna. Sarah and Stacy denied they were home around 1830 hours on July 27, 2021. Cell phone data showed that Sarah, Brandon, and Adrian were co-located in Meridian, Idaho on July 27, 2021, earlier in the day. Cell phone tower data and surveillance footage shows Sarah, Stacy, Adrian, and Brandon were in the area of their neighborhood at the time of Michael's disappearance. Sarah, Adrian, and Brandon returned to Fruitland, verified by surveillance, in Sarah's blue Toyota Corolla at 1708 hours, only to leave again at 1712 hours. The Toyota then came back into the neighborhood again at 1756 hours. Surveillance footage shows Sarah driving a maroon GMC pickup belonging to Sarah and Stacy Wondra on July 27, 2021, as she drove out of the neighborhood at 1908 hours. Stacy has been identified as the front passenger, and Brandon was the driver in the driver's rear side passenger. Sarah, Stacy, and Brandon's phone data show that they were co-located as they left the neighborhood at 1908 hours and drove to Kuna, Idaho. Adrian's phone did not provide any location data during the evening of July 27, 2021. However, Adrian took a selfie in the guest bathroom at the Wondra residence at 1926 hours. The Wondra's maroon GMC pickup truck is captured on surveillance footage returning to their Fruitland neighborhood at 23:22 hours on July 27, 2021, pulling or towing a silver Mercedes-Benz. Following Michael's disappearance, Sarah had a distinct change in behavior. Written communication between Sarah and Stacy on August 8, 2021 was recovered from the iCloud data. Sarah told Stacy that on that date she wanted to move and get out of this neighborhood and this house. Sarah also said to Stacy, "I liked it better when you agreed to be no one else here, but then you didn't want to listen to me about our sanctuary, so now we need to find another one. I need a new castle." Written communication from Sarah's phone on August 12, 2021 indicates a falling out between Stacy and Brandon, with Brandon being kicked out of the Wondra residence. Sarah changed her phone number. Following Michael's disappearance, Sarah began to stand along the highway near Love's gas station in Ontario, Oregon, with signs stating to repent your sins and that the end of time was near. Sarah's social media posts on TikTok and Facebook also changed drastically to religion and asking for forgiveness of her sins. Pre-abduction, Sarah posted infrequently and only showed a few posts over a year's time. From January to July of 2021, Sarah posted approximately 3 posts. 2 posts were to ask for directions to help cats, and one that she started a new job July 11th, 2021. After Michael's abduction, Sarah's posts were very religious and spoke about repentance and forgiveness. Sarah's Facebook posts also multiplied in number post-abduction. August 2021, Sarah made approximately 20 posts. September 2021, approximately 30 posts. October 2021, Sarah made approximately 202 posts. November 2021, Sarah made approximately 77 posts, and in December of 2021, Sarah made approximately 24 social media posts. Prior to Michael's abduction, Sarah had posted only approximately 11 videos on TikTok over 3 years. Following Michael's abduction, Sarah posted approximately 329 videos from September 15, 2021 through December 24, 2021. In TikTok videos Sarah made testimony statements regarding her involvement in criminal behaviors and stated that she had broken all 10 of the 10 commandments. It should be noted that thou shalt not kill is one of the 10 commandments. Sarah also alleged in her videos that it did not matter what sin she had committed because God had forgiven her for all of them. Michael's missing person flyer can be seen in the background in some of her videos. Sarah was interviewed again by law enforcement on November 15, 2021. Stacy was also interviewed after being confronted with a photo of her leaving the neighborhood on July 27, 2021 at 1908 hours, driving the GMC pickup. Sarah changed her story and said she was driving the GMC to get Brandon's Mercedes-Benz from Kuna to tow it back to Fruitland. Sarah said the trip to Kuna to get the car had not been previously planned and that it was Stacy who wanted to go get the car at that time and date. Sarah said she stopped at Southwest 8th Street in South Arizona on the way out of the neighborhood to input the address into the GPS. Sarah said she drove to Redacted in Kuna, which is Brandon's mother's home. Sarah said Brandon's mother, Tina Morale, was out of town. Sarah said Tina did not allow Brandon to have people in her home when she is not there. So Sarah and Stacy parked down the road, and Brandon used a back fence gate on the south side to enter Tina's residence so that her doorbell camera did not capture him there. Sarah reported that while towing the car back to Fruitland, the tow strap broke. While they were on the side of the road, Sarah reported she urinated and removed the shirt she was wearing in order to use it as a wipe. God forbid. Sarah would not provide information on which shirt she was wearing or what happened to it. Yeah, because it never happened. Upon returning to their neighborhood, Sarah said they spoke with a pedestrian who informed them of the missing child. Sarah did not mention wearing a shirt when they spoke with the pedestrian, but previously spoke of trying to cover herself as she was standing along the roadway. Sarah said after returning home, she and Brandon took her blue Toyota and drove around to help search for the child. Yeah, that never happened. Again, not mentioning reclothing. In later interviews, Sarah stated that she and Brandon went to the gas station for soda and candy prior to helping with the search. They didn't go for soda. Remember Brandon said in his interview with JLR, they went to get milk. Sarah said that on that night, she drove down Southwest 9th Street for the first time and drove past Michael's home, where she saw Michael's mother crying outside. Sarah said that she and Brandon went home due to the number of people already out searching. Sarah was asked about changing her phones following Michael's abduction. Sarah provided 2 reasons. Sarah said that they sold their phones because she and Stacy were splitting up, and Sarah said they sold their phones because a demon told her to. Yeah, because everybody has a demon telling them to change their phones. Sarah was still paying on the phones that she sold. Sarah was asked about her Facebook posts and provided the following responses. I literally had like a demon tell me that I need to leave my husband. I literally deleted all my pictures. I have no idea of what my passwords are. We had a fight. My husband and I had to sell our phones and we had to get new phones, and I can't access any of my stuff. So I do have Facebook, just don't have access to it right now. When asked about the vehicle Sarah and Stacy had, Sarah said that the GMC pickup was repossessed. Sarah said she told Stacy when they heard the repo guys were coming to take the truck, "We are going to be the nicest repo they ever had today." Law enforcement was later told that the truck appeared to have been thoroughly cleaned prior to the repo. Yeah, that's not suspicious. Following the interview on November 15, 2021, Brandon reported Sarah and Stacy contacted him and told him that they were re-interviewed about Michael's abduction. Brandon said Stacy suggested Brandon come over to their place to create an alibi and to write a letter on behalf of Sarah and Stacy saying that they were not involved in Michael's abduction. So, what did they think that they were going to do? Like, write them a, like, oh, that we're going to believe this other criminal. Okay, they're all criminals. All four of these monsters are all criminals. So law enforcement is going to believe Brandon when he writes a letter saying, hey, these two people I live with, they're such great people. They didn't do anything wrong to this child. Yeah. Tina Morale, Brandon's shirtless mother, was interviewed by law enforcement. Tina reported that Brandon's behavior changed after he lived with the Wondras. Tina explained that Brandon became more depressed and withdrawn, spending more time playing video games and smoking marijuana. Tina alleged that Brandon avoided law enforcement contact about Michael's abduction and that Brandon contacted Sarah to verify his story before he spoke with law enforcement. Tina would not tell law enforcement where Brandon was or what his phone number was at that time. Again, I hope that she gets charges for getting involved, and I also think that Tina knows a lot. Kay Ramsey, Sarah's mother, was interviewed and shown a picture of the tricycle. Kay Ramsey, Sarah's mother, was interviewed and shown a picture of the tricycle. Kay claimed she found the tricycle in some bushes near the bluff a few days prior to Michael's abduction. Kay said that would be the reason her DNA would be on the tricycle. So who just outright just puts it out there to law enforcement? Well, I touched it, so that's why my DNA is on it. I mean, who the heck would think about that if you were innocent and didn't know anything about it? So, Kay, you and Tina, I'm telling you, you two, you guys know a lot. Kay said after all of that effort, she left it at the intersection of Three Rivers Way and Southwest 8th Street. Kay was 73 years old in July of 2021. Kay Ramsey also confirmed to law enforcement that Sarah and Stacy's dog had dug holes in the backyard of the Red Wing residence. Kay reported the dog had dug up what she later determined to be the ear of a green stuffed animal. Kay said she had thrown away the stuffed ear because she didn't even think that it could possibly be something that she should contact law enforcement about, right? Kay Ramsey is alleged to have withheld information and or evidence in other criminal investigations involving Sarah in 2022. There, Kay initially concealed a firearm used in an aggravated assault in which Sarah was later convicted. And they have the case number listed for that. When law enforcement met with Sarah on October 12, 2022, Sarah said God told her he was going to help her find the boy. Okay. Sarah wrote a testimony and said that if law enforcement read it, they would locate Michael. Sarah suggested God had forgiven Hitler for his sins, that God had redeemed Sarah for her sins. Around this time, Sarah began standing in her driveway and urinating herself, causing the neighbors to call in for welfare checks. Yeah. In July 2023, Christy Cooch told detectives that in a prior conversation with Sarah before her arrest in 2022, Sarah made a statement that Stacy had been involved in the abduction of a 5-year-old boy. Christy said she made personal notes of their conversation. Christy had a jail-recorded conversation with Sarah in June of 2022, and when Sarah commented Stacy had been arrested April 2022, if he was charged with the kidnapping of the child. In the recording, Sarah recants her prior statement, claiming Christy misunderstood her. Christy also mentioned that Sarah's dog, was digging large holes in the backyard. On November 5th, 2022 at 00:55 hours, Stacy contacted Fruitland Police and requested an interview at Washington County Jail. Stacy provided vague details about the events surrounding Michael's abduction. Stacy said Sarah's religious beliefs and behavior changes started within a couple of days after Michael's abduction. In a recorded jail phone call, Stacy spoke of switched phones and or SIM cards because he did not want law enforcement to follow or profile him. On November 10th, 2022, Stacy again asked to speak with Fruitland police detectives. Stacy requested a deal. The same offer was given to Sarah in the Michael Vaughan case. Stacy admitted Michael had been in the house the night of Michael's abduction. Stacy admitted the tricycle had been in his garage, where Kim Elkin had previously described seeing it. Stacy then said that when he first saw Michael, Sarah was carrying Michael into their home. Stacy said Michael was put into a duffel bag to transport him out of their house into Brandon's house in Kuna. Stacy provided two reasons that they stopped in the GMC at the corner of Southwest 8th Street in South Arizona. 1. To put power steering fluid into the vehicle, and 2. So that Brandon could check to see if Michael was still alive, because Michael was bound with duct tape and stuffed into a duffel bag that was in the bed of the truck. Stacy reported he did not previously report this information because he thought he would still get into trouble and because he was fearful of Sarah hurting him. While describing how Michael was taped and stuffed into a duffel bag in his living room, Stacy had a physical reaction and began violently vomiting. Following his interview with law enforcement, Stacy called his mother, Tamara Johnson, from the Washington County Jail on a video visit. Tamara asked Stacy if Michael was alive. Stacy shook his head no and said Sarah accidentally killed him. Tamara asked, "How?" Stacy said, "Suffocation," and went on to say they buried him in a duffel bag. After his interview and phone call to his mother, Stacy wrote an apology letter to Michael's parents and then attempted to hang himself in his jail cell, but he was rescued by Washington County jail staff. Well, that's kind of unfortunate, isn't it? It should be noted that during some part of Stacy's incarceration in the Washington County jail, prior to his confession and directions on where to find Michael's body, Sarah was out of custody and living back at the house on Red Wing Street, as evidenced by her being there when law enforcement arrived to execute the search warrant. Sarah could have had the time and ability to move any evidence from the property without Stacy's knowledge. In June of 2022, Sarah called Kay Ramsey from jail and spoke about spouses being able to testify against each other. In a recorded phone call from the Washington County Jail to Sarah, Stacy expressed concern that Sarah was going to turn on Stacy. Sarah confirmed that Stacy was referring to Michael Vaughan. Sarah told Stacy that she had already told her attorney that she wasn't going to turn on Stacy and that she wasn't going to testify against Stacy. Well, considering the divorce is imminent now and that one of them is going to want a deal, well, they're going to hope for one of them will turn on the other. Guarantee it. As a search warrant was executed on Redacted on November 12, 2022, Sarah Wondra, who was located in the residence, was detained. As officers read to her the search warrant, Sarah made several strange statements. "Oh wow, that is a lot. I definitely did not kill that boy. The Most High God already told me who did it. Oh wow, the Most High God told me that Stacy was the one who killed him and buried him in the yard of Carson's house." She also said the Most High God told her Stacy was the one that killed him and he buried him. "The Most High God just told me that Stacy was the one who did it. He wants me to make sure you understand that I had nothing to do with it." He said that Stacy buried him in the backyard by the shed. It wasn't actually Stacy who harmed the boy. As officers started to search the residence, Sarah asked several times if the officers had found him yet. Idaho State Police and Ada County Sheriff's Office assisted with the execution of the search warrant at the Wondra residence, along with 5 separate certified cadaver canines. Prior to officers digging in the backyard of the Wandra's residence, cadaver canines were deployed and alerted in the backyard of Redacted. A total of 5 certified cadaver canines were deployed, and all 5 alerted inside the Wondra backyard in the approximate area of where Stacy claimed he witnessed Sarah and Adrian bury Michael. Neither Michael nor any human remains were located during the excavation of this search warrant and dig of the Wandra's backyard. Prior to excavating the backyard, law enforcement noted that there were several areas in the yard that appeared to have been filled in with dirt or resodded. Kay and Ed Ramsey reported they had filled in the areas of the yard where Sarah and Stacy's dog had dug holes. Yeah, I think that Kay knows more than that, in my opinion, allegedly. On October 13, 2023, a follow-up interview was done with Sarah by Detective Juanita Kelcher and Chris McDonough of the Cold Case Foundation. At the mention of Michael Vaughan, Sarah had a strong emotional response and began to cry. She then said, "God told me he was going to help me find the boy." Sarah went on to say, "God forgave everybody." While Sarah Wondra was in custody at the Payette County Jail, she was emotionally distraught and complained about people saying she did something bad. The jailer asked her what was going on, and she described, "I don't know if it was him. I don't know what body I saw." When the jailer asked, "What body?" she explained, "I don't know what was in the bag. I couldn't see it." When the jailer realized she was possibly talking about her case, he ended the discussion. In summation, Michael Vaughan went missing on July 27, 2021. Michael was observed by Dorothy Starkey on a tricycle near the Wondra home on the date of his abduction. That same tricycle was observed in the Wondra garage prior to the child's disappearance. Kay Ramsey, Sarah's mother, claimed to have found the tricycle down a cliff and moved it into the entrance of the neighborhood, and that she would explain her DNA being on the tricycle. James Smith told law enforcement that he found the tricycle down a cliff in an area where a canine live scent tracker dog would later alert. James Smith claims he put the tricycle behind the bluff sign where it was recovered by law enforcement. A live scent tracker dog showed interest in the Wondra's residence. Later, cadaver dogs alerted in the Wondra backyard, and there appeared to be evidence of repairs done to the yard to cover up holes. Sarah Wondra's behavior changed drastically after the disappearance of Michael Vaughan. Sarah's husband, Stacy Wondra, made a confession with regard to his and Sarah's participation in the abduction of Michael Vaughan. Sarah made statements that Stacy and Adrian hurt and buried Michael, that she saw a body in a bag, and changed her version about what happened multiple times. Sarah made comments that she believed her husband may have been involved in Michael's abduction when speaking with one of her foster mothers. Sarah also told Stacy she wouldn't turn on him regarding Michael Vaughan. Based upon all the foregoing, your officiant believes there is a probable cause to believe Sarah Wondra is guilty of kidnapping and murder in the first degree, as well as concealment of evidence. And of course it's signed. Looks like it was signed on June 12, 2025 by Juanita Kelcher. Again, there is some repetitiveness there, but that's to be expected, considering that, it's Sarah and Stacy. I am curious, what differences we're going to see when it comes to Brandon and Adrian's probable cause affidavits, which I hope are coming very soon. At this point, like I said, they all are in custody, just not on these charges yet. And from what I understand, as of right now, 11/13/2025, as I record this, Stacy still hasn't been extradited, although that could have happened today and we just are not aware of it yet. But remember that they had 30 days to extradite him, and as soon as they get him to Fruitland, to Payette County, they're going to have a court appearance for him there, and then the clock will start obviously once he's told of his charges. And Sarah also hasn't made an appearance and been officially charged in court either. So they're definitely coming. That's for sure. But again, this is just a tough one, and I'm not looking forward to reading further details down the line. But at the same time, you know, we need to know what happened to Michael. We do. Um, the biggest thing we need to know, well, the family needs to know. Let me correct myself there. Is where is Michael? And like I said before, I believe 110% that Brandon knows. And I think Sarah probably knows. But I really believe Brandon knows. And I think Tina knows. And maybe Kay. Though, since Kay was 73 in 2021, she probably won't even end up spending any time in jail. Yeah, but Tina, well, she may. She may be arrested before you know it. But the bottom line is we need justice for Michael, justice for sweet Michael here, and bring Monkey home. Michael's army is still here. We are here all the way through this. Our dedication and love to Michael and the Vaughan family, it just never ends. It's not going to end. All right, guys, please let me know your thoughts in the comments. And with that said, I hope you have a great rest of the day. And most of all, stay safe.